Washington seems to be bowing to pressure from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The United States does not want to lose contracts worth US $23.37 billion. Now the United States is reported to be continuing the process of selling F-35 fighter jets and MQ-9B fighter drones to the UAE. Previously, because they felt it was difficult, the UAE decided to suspend the purchase of the jumbo-valued defense equipment package. After being threatened by the UAE, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Malaysia on Wednesday said Washington was indeed conducting several reviews. However, he stressed that the U.S. is ready to advance sales of the fifth-generation fighter jet. When the U.S. was led by Donald Trump, the UAE was promised to buy the F-35 if it established diplomatic relations with Israel. However, after it was met by the UAE, there was a political change in the U.S. With Joe Biden taking office as president, Washington has another condition, namely the issue of the UAE's closeness to China, which could potentially lead to espionage efforts if the F-35 is operated by the oil-rich country. The UAE has informed the U.S. that it will suspend discussions on the purchase of the F-35s, a UAE official told Reuters on Tuesday, December 14, 2021. The suspension was considered considering the technical requirements, sovereign operational restrictions, and cost or benefit analysis. The official said talks on selling the F-35 could be reopened in the future. The UAE's deal with the U.S. is estimated at $23.37 billion, which includes 50 F-35A units valued at $10.4 billion, 18 MQ-9B drones valued at $2.97 billion, as well as air-to-air and air-to-air munitions. Land value of $10 billion. The existence of 5G cellular technology is apparently being questioned by Uncle Sam's country. The reason for this is that the United States asked the UAE to withdraw its partnership with Huawei as a 5G service provider. As in other countries, in the UAE, suppliers of 5G technology to mobile operators are also fronted by a telecommunications vendor from China, namely Huawei. Not just asking. Washington will further withdraw the contract to sell 50 F-35 stealth fighter jets and 18 MQ-9B combatant drones if the UAE does not attract Huawei as a 5G service provider. Quoted from Bloomberg.com, December 6, 2021, the U.S. requires the UAE to phase out Huawei-supplied cellular networks within the next 4 years, where in the next 4 years, namely in 2026 and 2027, it is scheduled that the UAE's F-35 orders will begin to be delivered. The U.S. insistence is based on the security risks of espionage attempts. Huawei has so far deployed personnel to work with the Gulf state on cybersecurity missions and establishing smart cities. For the U.S., the presence of Huawei's 5G network in the UAE's commercial network could allow China to spy on pilots, contractors and others at bases where F-35 are deployed. Later the UAE was able to show its Tadger, namely by buying a fleet of Dassault Rafale fighter jets from France in large quantities. No half-hearted UAE some time ago.